Let me tell you what's been going on up here in the Northwest. So Hanford, essentially, when it comes to like the government computers, it doesn't really matter. It could be the state, be the city. They see the Mormon temple like convinced all these people. Okay, so like around the time of 2015 or 16, they started telling people about everybody voyeuring everybody. Then they offered up church system. And you know what church system is? Church system is like a theoretical, unused, satanic S&M system. It was like, they essentially have like 700 variant S&M dark web or virtualized dark cloud systems. Some people call them grays or whatever. There was one that was unused, and they called it church system. And those are just satanic S&Ms. That's all they are. And they got everybody to blackmail into them. A bunch of people got outfitted with speakers and shit. And so then, if they were in the government, part of those systems hacks the phone. And then, everybody goes to their work computer and they like plug it in. And so, who's ever gray that was, they bitch move off of and they think that it'll be hidden. So essentially out at Hanford, the person who's gray, that is, refused to plug in his phone. And then, that is where they magically thought that they would be undetected based on a bitch move. So, that's the level of intellects. So essentially what they did is they went around and hacked everybody's phone out at Hanford. Basically. And then it's pretty natural for people to like charge their phone at the computer or something. So then, like if you leave it in there long enough, it has an AI in it. And that essentially the AI hacks the computer through the phone. See, like I know the visual signs of my phone being hacked. It has aspects like when I was using the Facebook, they had a hacked version of Facebook. So that is like where I know that this phone, even though I didn't jailbreak or do anything, I know that it has one of these stupid gray hacks on it. They just do a remote jailbreaking. And see, I know that not to plug these in to like a government computer. And so essentially, there's everybody's like in molesting a kid. That's an it. Everybody like uploaded that shit. Not everybody, but a shit ton of people out of Hanford. Then they take the phone in, and they pretty much nobody knows anything about this shit. And they plug it in. And then all the stupid little fucking Mormon hackers around here, then they start hacking the computer as a terminal. And so then, essentially part of it is like, once it hooks up to the computer, then essentially they place in like, you know, a lot of those computers will have a Wi-Fi card in it, and that then they essentially have like a shadow way of building the personal hotspots on the phone. So whenever the person is around the computer, then the AI uses a shadow Wi-Fi personal hotspot through these dark webs. And then there's like a shadow sign on the computer. So when they come around their computer after plugging it in, then the phone itself is the is the virtual Wi-Fi, basically. And so this is where that whole system is like very difficult to extrapolate out of a system like they would have out of Hanford. So this goes for like tons of government buildings, and then they get these pop-ups, okay, on the screen. And then they sit around using their government computer with a hack that they interact with all day. And that in that hack has them breaking laws. So that's the kind of shit that people have been doing up here in the Northwest. They've been doing, and that the Mormon Temple was the one that like told everybody to be getting into these dark webs for cybersecurity, and they called it a church system. And you had to like go to church, and then you had to like molest a kid. You know, the whole idea is that this still has, this still has the jailbreak that's on mine is like a very minimal one. It's like a minimal one. It's like what hackers would use at anybody's phone. But like their phones basically are like have a voice act like a Siri voice. That's kind of how you'll tell the difference. And that is basically like, you know, those grays or whatever the fuck people call them. They're just satanic S&Ms. And you see, this is what happens when you get a stupid satanic cult that thinks backwards. Okay? People put a lot of trust in things that nobody understands, and like that's what I'm getting at. Is those Mormons around here, that Mormon temple, they went around convincing people of this church system shit, and that I knew exactly what the fuck that shit is. So that's gonna be a major issue because you know what? In ways, it's like Candle Camps on. At Candle Camps on, they got into Ready Player Stupid pedophilia, and then it was like a cybersecurity, and then they plugged their devices into the call center computers, and then essentially what comes of that is that then it places a pop-up that kind of like you can't really click in the background. It's like a window that pops up, and the only thing that you can click on is the stuff in the window. And then next, what Mormon wants is for everybody to download their like computer apps that they use with all the data. It's an espionage methodology. And then they want people to use the hack for the government computer stuff. And then Mormon wants to sit there and run the whole thing. So Mormon was the one that convinced all those people to get those hacks on their shit. Then Mormon's the one that didn't inform them not to be putting their phone into the computer. And now Mormon wants to run everything from their stupid Mormon community. And then they sit around acting like that would be some sort of acceptable, like, logical idea. Then they sit around having the world's biggest, little, dumbest little sociopaths that like to do furry psychopath all day and like to sit around torturing people into suicide. They want those people to be essentially doing all the computer work for everybody out at Hanford. So people that are too stupid to know what a satanic S&M system is, and too stupid to know not to be having a bunch of people not blackmailing, and too stupid to know not to be bitch moving in these dumb fucking ways, and too stupid to realize that people that orchestrate little espionage methodologies, they're too stupid to know how dumb it is. Their whole idea, their whole fucking plan, they're too stupid to realize nobody is gonna have them doing fucking anything. And that is where kind of like Amazon, they would like basically they would reroute phone calls to stupid Mormons and shit at home. And then they trained at doing the call center's customer service. And then everybody would have to sit there with Mormons doing all the stuff at their job. And then they started doing it really shitty. See, this is where people, anybody that has any theoretical idea about allowing some outside ghost entity to be doing all the work, I guarantee you that they've been sitting there. Each person's computer will have 2 stupid Mormons that have been sitting there ghost training on how to do anything on a computer. See, this is the stuff that they literally thought, oh, oops, hack. That's what they think. They think that their innocence would just be like so nicey and stuff. And so it's not your just typical like dumb little group of hackers anymore. It's a huge group of hackers that act like they messed up. Oops, I just messed up. Yeah. And people will probably go to prison for it.